I forgot I used to say a PB, so yeah, I am PB. I was thinking of something that happened to me when I was really broke. Like I can't call myself broke now. I mean, it would just be like a complainy thing. I mean, I got some. Because before it was like, I mean, I'm writing all about it in full detail. Because it's too much detail to even remember, and I mean, it has to get put down. And I'm not sure if I'm going to make art later. At my normal spot. I mean, I'm just a bit overtired. It might be just embarrassing to even be in public, that type of tired. But I remember something that happened when I was real broke. I used to literally push a shopping cart around because of some injuries I had. So I pushed a shopping cart miles around. I'm writing about it because it's you would see someone doing that, and I mean, really, what goes through your head? I mean, what used to go through my head was, why would anyone do that? A naive type of, but I mean, like the actual mechanics of how does someone end up with, I don't know, that particular mode. Like, what is it with shopping carts? Well, the thing is that it's basically a walker that you can put stuff in. And I found that out after having an accident and having to walk to my job where I was riding a bike previously to get to it. And that thing actually, strangely, it was like physical therapy. It healed me up because the weight and the terrain, having to move it around, and you can only go so fast. And then you're not really walking, you're just using your abs and your quads to like shuffle. And that was my left leg. So I would shuffle that leg, basically barely let it touch the ground. Slowly over months, I let more and more of it touch the ground. And eventually it healed enough that I could start riding the bike. But my everything else was messed up by that point, like my back. So I ended up just pushing it around almost to the end of towards like the last 3, I guess towards the last 70 to 85% of the time to the end of, well, yeah, I think the last 6 or 7 months of that job I drove there. But before that, there's probably almost a year stretch with that thing. And basically the car was a favor. So it wasn't something that I did myself. It was like I was gotten out of that kind of. I gotta piece it all together. But so one particular day I had this cart. The messed up thing is also realizing it is not a half bad method of moving stuff. It just looks terrible because everyone is like, well, obviously you live outside. And I sort of halfway did at that point. Like I was like banished from my house. I had taken apart some pallets that I intended to be used to build some stuff. I packed this cart with as much pallet wood as I could. And it was a pretty depressed day thinking back on it. Because I was in pain, I was having headaches, and it was 1,000,000,000 degrees out. It was like the surface of Venus, southeastern USA. just brand new blacktop too that I had to push this thing over. It was like torturous. I wasn't crying. I had gone through that shit before. But it was one of those instances where, like, I guess you don't realize how bad it is until later, because I pushed this cart, whatever, like almost. I must have pushed it about a half mile up behind a general store. Left it there, and I had like random tools. I think, gosh, I'm remembering all this. I had tools clamped to the side of it. I had a saw, is what it was, clamped on it, onto the top part of the cart with like a carpenter's wood clamp, just to break the pallets apart at the job. And I get whatever Gatorade, something else, some like salty thing, smoke a number for the headache, which is, I mean, one of the only things that works for me. I don't care what anybody says. Put the stuff back in there, but then I go to like align everything as I leave to go, and it's 1,000,000 degrees out. It's like I have a sun migraine. I'm sweating. I'm wearing like this very big cape, like button down with like Panama Jack colors, but it's like a quadruple XL on me. So I would just button the top, and then I would wet the nape, and then the wind would go through it. I'd wear nothing underneath, and it was the coolest you could be in the summertime. I understand this desert wear clothing now. Get to the cart, and I look to the piece where the clamp is holding that little flimsy wood saw. There's a $20 bill, a crisp new $20 bill that I don't leave $20 bills around at that time. I still don't. I probably never will. Just folded right in there, right between the clamp and the saw. Not super visible. My point is, someone was watching me. I have no clue who, and I understand that, you know, you blame angels and stuff for that, but this was obviously someone from the place I cleaned for money then, and I just don't know who it was. It was, I'm certain it was a person. My point is that it's like it was an indication of, like, you know, in my head I'm like already mentally set up to get home, and you know, you're calculating how long the wind will take to blow the smoke smell off of you, so it'll be okay to go indoors without making people upset, you know, how much water to drink. Do I have enough various, you know, do I have all the stuff that I need for the day? Because you're walking everywhere. I mean, you're just running calculations. I don't know, keep your mind busy to not think of the pain of all that. But looking there, it's like, I just thought to myself, it's, you know, what I was thinking was, yeah, gratefulness, honestly. I wasn't really, the thing is, I wasn't flat broke then. I wasn't hurting for cash terribly. I could use about a $10,000 loan for a car. I could use that type of, I could use, you know, which I ended up, you know, not that, but I ended up getting a junker. like, I don't know, a year later or something. But um just I was grateful for the money, but being left the money, and then it was like all I could think of was just like someone must have thought, man, what a fucking worm. He might die in that heat. Someone out there was like actually worried maybe that I would that I was like not gonna make it or something, that I was needing badly enough that they. I feel like they would have left me more, but they felt like it would be insulting because there were people at this place that had moolah. $20 is $2, 2 cents. So, I mean, and I'm sure that they knew they weren't fixing my entire economic situation. But it's interesting to think it's like, it did help me out. But it was crazy because I wasn't asking for help, but someone basically bypassed it and was, I guess hurt to see it. I think I was 24 then. It's weird. You force yourself to deal with stuff. You can basically live outside, and to your own self, there's balance. But others look at you with like they cannot help but look at you with pity. And I'm not complaining. It was just to imagine it. That was maybe 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. I mean, just thinking about it, I'm certain it looked horrible. It's interesting, even people that were close to me, it's an indication at that time who really has compassion and who doesn't. Because a lot of people were just saying, get it together, you look gross. So what's messed up about that is you can get stuck with that. But you ought not to, and I didn't. Like, if there's any point in time I should have given up, it was right then. That was about the worst I can think. But he can handle a lot. If you have to. I know I did. And because it didn't feel like a lot. And, you're not even a panhandler and people throwing money at you. I've never stood there with a sign. People give me things. So I can't give up It wouldn't make sense.